Mm, 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 mm. Oh, wait. Alright, well, as we're getting set up here, I guess I will go ahead and say hello, everybody. How's it going? Everybody have a good look at the eclipse there today? For those of you that live in the US, or that don't live in the US, but decided to travel there to watch it. I personally thought it was pretty cool. H Y. Don't steal my password, guys. Please. Thanks. I guess I should have done this before, but I kind of forgot that this is how this works. Because we're starting a new chapter today, finally. After so long in chapter 2. We're finally starting chapter 3 of 4. Hopefully these future chapters won't take me nearly as long as the next ones. Yes! Haha! Okay, well, I guess we can... Right, so, welcome to Under the Radar, where we are continuing our look at Steve Jackson's Sorcery, where we start on Chapter 3, the 7 Serpents. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know other than that, and if you've been following this series, you know what's going on. We had some good times, lots and lots of bad times, but now we are finally free from Khare, so let's see what the next area of our adventure has in store. Night falls on this, the 8th day of your journey from Analand. To the east, mighty mountains claw at the star. Oh, you know what? Hold on just 1 second. There, that's probably a bit better, isn't it? Alright. Man, it really has been a long time since I've streamed, huh? Well, I did last week, but anyway. Night falls on this, the 8th day of your journey from Analand. To the east, mighty mountains claw at the stars. You stand on the edge of Badubak, a wild and desolate place. Beyond lies Mompang Fortress, the Archmage, and the Crown of Kings. The path has been long. Leaving the hills, you journeyed into Khare and saved it from destruction. Okay, sorry. You saved it from destruction by goblins. You lost your spirit guides on its streets, becoming a follower of Korriga, the god of grace. You were captured by slavers and overcame the deadly portal traps of the city, ancient cruel magic designed to trap the unwary. The Baklands are different. But the plains of Badubak will be different. Once, long ago, this land thrived, prospering in the warm shadow of the fortress of sorcerers high in the Zazunu peaks. Then, something changed. They say the last refugee to reach Khare declared only, "They are all gone." The north gate was sealed, and the Baklands left to die. Now the gates stand open. They say the land beyond the gates is cursed. No one from the young country of Analand has ever crossed this wilderness before. You will be the first. The old world is counting on you. But already you have no food and no gold. This stage of journey will be punishing, but you cannot turn back. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that I'm probably going to starve to death. Also, I feel like the epic music should probably cue when they show the title. Maybe I can make my own epic music. Okay. Hey, what are you talking about? My title is perfect. I'm really proud of that title. See, look, it's a vast wasteland. I guess it's technically, well, there's like a forest there, but I feel like this is fairly plainish. I mean, look at it. It's just like all flat land. So it's a plain, and there's snakes on it. So I'm very proud of my title. Thank you very much. Uh, Anyway, alright, well, let's get started. Oh, real quick though, before we get super into this. Oh god, I lost my spell book. Oh no. Okay. Before we get too far into this, I have to say that apparently it's a little after my 1 year anniversary of starting my show. So yeah, I guess I forgot all that because I got caught up because I moved here in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, essentially, I've been doing this show for 1 year, and that actually, on that note, this episode right now marks our 40th episode. So yeah, pretty cool. I mean, I'm thinking about, I don't know. I guess if I was going to do something to celebrate, the time has already passed since it was technically a couple weeks ago, and I just missed it because of the move. But that's okay. We can have a little celebration. Alright, cool. Let's move on. The stones of the old road disappear under a layer of dust and sand. At your back looms the great wall of the city port of Khare. Ahead, there's nothing but an empty waste. See? See Forlong? Empty waste. And the night. I'm curious about what happened to Khare, though. You cast a last glance at the city port. Even now, Vic is taking control. The baying of his wolves echoes across the plains. Well, that still sucks, I guess. I wonder if there's a way you can stop Vic from taking control. You turn your gaze from Khare to the stars, wondering what fresh secrets they may hold this far from the walls of Analand. Yeah, I know how to play this game already. Every step along the broken road takes you further from safety and into the unknown. Something, Gorga perhaps, sets your senses tingling. You are not alone out here. Is that the screech of a bird you hear? Or a distant scream? Well, I don't really have any spells other than the ones that I happen to have memorized. Uh, Sword, and I don't know. I'm a nice guy, so I'm just gonna keep walking. Oh geez. You try to shake off your unease and keep walking, but below your footsteps you hear bleh. Below your footsteps you hear the calling of birds. Crows? But no, crow call is as piercing as these shrieks. A moment later, a ferocious nighthawk has plunged from the sky, talons outstretched for your neck. Ow! You try to roll aside, but you are too slow. Sharp talons rake down your back. The bird wheels up into the sky to rejoin its group. You count 4 birds circling, ready to attack. Let's get this. Oh, geez, these are some tough birds. Look how tiny I am. I'm like a little baby man trying to fight these dudes. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just defend for now. Oh, well, dang. The nighthawk swoops in low, talons outstretched. You drop into a defensive crouch, covering your head. The nighthawk falls low, but rather than attacking, it swerves at the last moment, merely scraping at your defenses. You escape mostly unscathed. The nighthawk opens its beak to scream and circles through the air overjoyed. For just a moment, you lose track of it against the stars. And I'm assuming that means it's defending? Aha! I got lucky there, though. You wait for the nighthawk's wide wings to open, and then you strike. You wait, twist, and then charge forwards. It swoops for you, then tries to turn and retreat, but it is too slow. Your blade cuts a ragged gash in its bony belly. The nighthawk issues a bloody call and spreads its talons wide. Alright, I think it's about to attack me, so let's go all out! I probably wasted some stamina there, but alright. You take advantage of the nighthawk's anger to press forward. Your blade sings as it parts the air, overpowering the nighthawk's beating wings and tearing claws. You cut the bird deep into its belly, but it darts away upwards before you can inflict the worst of it. It beats its strong wings and gained height, gathering momentum for another strike. Let's defend. You drop into a crouch as the nighthawk screams through the air. You repel it with your blade, heaving with effort. It clicks together long talons while turning in the air once more. It is still determined to fight. Ooh. An opening appears. Swinging up from a low crouch, you aim for the beast's cold heart. The nighthawk screams as your blow connects. The low hills echo with a bird's chill screams. It flaps its way upwards, gaining altitude, ready to plunge. Alright, hopefully I can beat it out again. Aha! You clamber up into a nearby dune to get closer. You jump through the air, hoping to catch the creature, catching the bird between the widespread wings. The nighthawk flexes its cruel claws as it wheels overhead. This dude just like, oh no, I'm gonna defend. Ah, dang, I could have probably beaten it. I was thinking of doing a 0.5. You fall back. The nighthawk tries to slice you with its wings, but you duck. Oh no, that's bad. Next moment, the bird is plunging from the sky, as though intent on skewering you with its beak. You try to cut across the nighthawk's body, but it catches the blow with its talons and batters you with its wings. Claws grasp at your side and cut a long, bloody gash. Blood is trickling down your arm. It stretches its long nails while circling in the sky. Oh no, it's just going to keep whittling me down if I keep defending like this, though. You dropped into a crouch. The nighthawk tries to swipe you with its vicious wings, but you step quickly aside. You breathe a sigh of relief. It climbs a little, gaining speed. You You stay low as the Nighthawk dives downwards. You dodge as best you can. The creature's relentless assault keeps on coming, battering you and wearing you down. It beats its heavy wings and rises, its eyes not leaving you. Alright, let's see if I can beat it out now. Huzzah! Just 2 more hits and I'll win this. Suddenly you dive forward. Leaping up from a defensive position, you charge for the Nighthawk's skull, catching the bird wide open. You draw blood. It makes its way upwards. Ah! Finally! Jeez, that was terrible. You duck back into the shadow of the dune, luring the Nighthawk closer, only to turn around and strike out. You bring your blade in heavily. The Nighthawk tumbles as it tries to lift itself away. From a few feet overhead, it collapses into the dust. The savage light in its eyes has gone dark. Yeah, 8 stamina's not good, but oh well. I'm gonna try to go back to my rule of not rolling back unless I die. I kind of flex that rule a little bit in Khare, but hopefully I won't need to use it that much here. You step away from the fallen creature, but there is no time to rest. 2 more of the creatures overhead shriek and start their dive. Alright, let's cast. You spread your arms wide, ready to summon the power of the stars, but then, quite suddenly, the Nighthawks break formation. Something else is shimmering into visibility. In their very midst. Let's see what's uphill. At least I can get to higher ground, maybe? You move up to higher ground while behind you the strangest of battles ensues. The wing of one Nighthawk snaps upward like a broken branch. The second is ripped into feathers by invisible claws. The remaining birds scatter. There is nothing left but your mysterious saber. You step forward and call out thanks to the invisible creature. There is a rush of air just in front of you. Whatever it is, has landed. You hear the movement of unseen, feathered wings. Then at last you understand. This creature is a gold-crest eagle from the king's own eyrie in Analand. The eyrie is deep behind the Shamutani wall. It must have flown for 3 days to reach you. But why? The creature, slowly becoming visible, sees you have recognized it. It tilts its beak. You bow your head to the eagle. It opens its beak in reply, and something falls to the ground. It is a message cylinder. Whatever it contains must be of vital importance, or the king would not have risked revealing your location like this to deliver it. You reach down and pick up the tube. Oh, that's nice. That is beautiful. Some food would be nice though, but I guess I can't complain. You reach down and pick up the tube. Inside are 10 gold pieces and a rolled parchment, sealed with the royal seal of the king of Analand. We trust these tidings each reach you in fair health, but must warn you of impending peril. Your mission is discovered. The Mampang's eyes have spied our plan, and word is on its way to the Dark Fortress. Too late, we discovered our unwelcome eavesdroppers, and news of your quest is being carried towards High Zaman by 7 serpents, the Archmage's most trusted servants. By now they will have reached the Baklands, and here they will divide to complete their journey separately. If you are still able, seek them out, for they must stop to rest and eat. Destroy the creatures before they reach their goal, else the Archmage will prepare a deadly welcome for you. Find Shadrach. Wait, Shadrach? Isn't that like a Louis Armstrong song? Or no, he's actually, well, he's a Bible figure, but I know it because of the Louis Armstrong song. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Find Shadrach, the hermit, for advice, for naught moves through the Baklands without his knowledge. Our hearts are with you. You look up, but the gold-crest eagle has already rendered itself invisible once more. You feel the rush of air as its great wings lift it from the ground. Then you are alone. Ooh, this is a tough one. Should I destroy the message or keep it? Well, I feel like if the whole thing about this is secrecy, I think it'd probably be best to destroy it. You tear the note into shreds and toss them into the wind. You will not quickly forget what it said. It seemed the Baklands are not as deserted as you had hoped. You must find these 7 serpents and destroy them, or your journey will be for nothing. No decision is permanent. Click the yeah. Alright, I know. I got this game. You don't need to tell me. The stars turn in the sky overhead. Taking the pole as your guide, you rejoin the old road and make your way north. Before you, the Baklands stretch away into dim horizon. How can you hope to locate 7 serpents in such a wilderness? Actually, you know what? Let me double check what my items are. Okay, so it resets the clues, I guess, since this is a new chapter. Shadrach the Hermit uses similar weapons. For sleeping of the sleep will seek the one they call the sham. Not a lot of good that does me. Weapons. It's a shame I lost that sword to that stupid goblin thing. Those are probably not going to do me much good at this point. Only I can remember what those magic spells are. Oh well. What am I doing? Oh, I must find Shadrach. No doubt the Shadrach will help you. Though how does the king of Analan know who lives in the Baklands? Is there more to this wilderness than you know, or is the king relying on the unreliable foresight of his farseers? Boop. After about half an hour, you see a deep black line across the earth up ahead and catch your step just in time. You are 1 pace away from the edge of a sheer cliff. A few loose stones disappear over the edge and clatter away into the dark. You know what? I just think I need a nap. You shiver and pull your cloak about yourself. The hour is late enough already. You will rest here, though there is no shelter, and continue in the light. Laying your pack down by the cliff edge, you try to settle despite the cold. At least you have eaten already today, so you do not need to eat again to avoid hunger, though more food will make you stronger. Yeah, see, the problem is I don't have any food already. See, I was wondering the same thing for long. I was wondering if I might need the message as proof, but at the same time, I feel like there are probably more hostile people in this area than there are good people. So I'm gonna assume that the message is gonna probably cause me more trouble because I'm guessing if I do get found out, then I'm screwed. So I'm thinking that tearing the message up was the right choice, but I guess there's no way to know for certain until I get more into it. You close your eyes and let your tiredness overtake you. The silence is loud in your ears. Slowly, you're understanding the true loneliness of this place. The bustle and chatter of Khare seem a forgotten dream. Oh, it hurts. The long night is filled with visions. A hooded woman with a scar down her face looks up from a deck of cards. It would be better if the crown were dropped into the sea, she tells you firmly, or else you should wear it yourself and rule all. And even while you sleep, you know the serpents are moving towards Mompang, and every day you spend out here is a day in which your journey might be discovered. Oh, wow. It's like going on Majora's Mask up in here. Edge of the Cliff, Day 1. During the past day, you gained considerable gold and found 4 new clues. That's interesting. The other ones weren't quite like this. Morning brings cold, clear light. You wake and find yourself lying all but on the edge of a great cliff that plunges to a rocky floor below. Good thing you did not roll in the night. You approach the cliff edge and peer over. The drop is considerable, and the view beyond stretches for miles. Leading away to the left is what appears to be a carved staircase of rough stone blocks. In the far distance, birds wheel and turn about the landscape ahead. As you stare out across the plains, the featureless dust resolves itself into low, rocky outcrops and gullies. The landscape below is not as featureless as perhaps you first thought. Ah, dang, I think the game's agreeing with you for long. Oh well, I'm keeping my title. I'm proud of it, dang it. Ha! Ha! What? Oh, look at that! Never mind! I lied. Look. Ha! Look at the plain. Some way off you see a spire of rock rising proud like a stupa. But through the mist it seems sometimes that it has 2 prongs and sometimes only 1. Beyond that a line of low mountain rises, the Badu Bak Ridge. A second, higher range is visible beyond, the horns of Il Kala. Their summits must be subject to wild winds, as from here it seems that snow covers them 1 minute, and yet they are bearing rock the next. From across the plain you hear the distant sound of flapping wings. More nighthawks? But nighthawks do not fly when the sun is shining. Shielding your eyes against the low sun, you look south. The skies seem darker there somehow, and 4 birds wheel against the sky. Then suddenly they break formation. One falls, another is torn to pieces. A figure moves in the darkness beneath. Ah, I'm gonna help him! Rush to the fight. You rush a few steps forwards, but suddenly the whole scene is gone. The plain and skies are empty once more. There's something very strange about this place. Well, there's one spell that I remember how to cast, so let me hit up a good ol' no. Can I not hit up a sus? trying to remember the other spells, but without my spell book, this is very difficult. What does Foff do? I can't remember. It doesn't tell me. Oh well, screw it. I guess let's just look to the staircase. You turn your attention to the steps down the cliffside. They are carved from the living rock, and their surfaces, perhaps once smooth, are now warped and drilled with holes from the rain. But they lead downwards all the same. How did anyone carve such a slope? What did they stand on to sculpt the stones so high up in the air? The top step is covered with a curious bright yellow moss. Sunlight sparkles in the distance. A lake, perhaps? Sure, what the heck, I'll take some moss. Intrigued, you grab a fistful of this moss. It is juicy and extremely pungent. You put your nose deep into the moss. The scent is like lemons, and strong cheese and manure all rolled together. Reminds you of the smell of drinking water in Khare. The effect is heady. You taste the moss with a tentative tongue. The flavor is not pleasant, but it does not appear acrid. Perhaps it is not poisonous? Well, I'm not stupid enough to just eat it outright, so... You stow the moss in your pack, but it quickly dries and crumbles to so much dust. Okay, well, that's no good. Can I cast another spell? Apparently I can cast Howl. Do you have any idea what Howl does? Oh, well, screw it. Let's see. You cast a spell and a calm voice enters your mind, suggesting that you take the anchored staircase down the side of the mountain. Oh, that's right. Howl determines how I go. It's when you have a path. Okay. Alright, well, that's fine. Climb down the steps. You stride onto the ancient stone staircase, trusting it will not crumble beneath your weight. Then, one pace at a time, you make your way slowly down to the sunken lands below. Okay. Do I have to click this to clear it? Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's cool. We're good. Alright. Okay. Halfway down. You clamber down the ancient stairs. It is painstaking work, as every step is about the height of your own body. Then halfway to the ground you are forced to stop. The steps below have fallen to rubble. The step on which you stand is in fine condition, perhaps sheltered from the weathering winds by the overhang above, but the next is gone, and as are the others after that, stripped from the cliff face as though scoured. You make out fragments of fallen rock scattered across the plain below. A few rocks skitter down the steep slope to the ground below. You have no choice but to turn back, or else jump. I got this. Oh, hey, cool. I like how his icon changed. You take a moment to gather your courage and then let yourself fall, far and fast, onto broken stones. Come on, I got this, please. Oh. You land badly, and for a moment you are afraid that you have broken your ankle, but you manage to stand. The foot of the cliff is punctured by little holes, perhaps the warren of hill foxes, or whatever equivalent inhabitants these barren wastes. Do I have anything that I can use to, like, heal, maybe? No? I think I consumed them all in, Khare. Crap. Ah, well. Let's see. You gaze up the soaring arc of the cliff, barren rock, dusted by what little scrub can cling onto its sides. It's as if some great clawed hand had scooped out the earth. In the near distance, across the plains and away from the cliff, you can see a stone tower, the only stone structure in the whole barren landscape. The tower stands some way across the plain, almost in the foothills of the ridge. It lists to one side, but appears not to have crumbled into ruin. This, then, is the plain of Bak, an endless expanse of dust, broken only by the thin outline of an ancient road. No one from Analand has been here. No one even knows what happened to this place. Once it was the Archmage's country, his fields and paddocks, and now it is too barren to even be a place of death. Oh, jeez, whoa! Whoa, that's a lot of places to go. Um, well, shit. Okay. So, my video game senses are telling me there's probably one serpent in each locale because it looks like everything is kind of conveniently divided into 6 sections because we've got these plains, we've got I guess the ridge, we've got the forest, the steps, the river, the lake, and I guess some city up there? I don't know. Well, maybe it's more than 6. But either way, it looks like, in general, it looks like you can divide this into 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess if you count the river and the lake, and then 6. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm assuming I have to find one snake in this plane. I kind of like the idea of following the old road because that seems the most interesting. But I'm almost wondering if the snake is... Well, the problem is I have no idea even how to find the snake. So let's just go with my gut and I'll follow the old road. Oh yeah, you're right. There are 7. So yeah, in that case, then probably what it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, these are probably each 3. I mean, that's just my guess. So city, lake, river, steppe, forest, cliff, plain are the 7. Would be my guess. I mean, if years and years of playing video games has taught me anything. But we'll see. Ultimately, I don't know. They may do something tricky and have like all 7 in one region. Knowing how this game likes to punish me, I wouldn't be surprised. You leave the shadow of the cliff for the road that cuts across the plain. As the morning moves on, the winds begin to rise. From here, the path is uncertain. Badu Bak is a wasteland, and there is no pass through the great ridge that forms its eastern border. I don't know what any of these words mean. The Zanzu Peaks and Mampang seem impossibly far away, and yet a way must be found. When the Archmage sent his birdmen to steal the crown of kings, they flew, but you must walk. There is no alternative. The future of the old world depends on you finding your way across the lonely Dust Bowl. Oh boy. Wow, this one seems like it has way more paths to take. Road, blasted tree. Well, let's take a little detour to check out this tree, I guess. You leave the road and walk across the desolate plain. The sun is hot now. After a while of walking, you see something to break the monotony. Too tall and thin for a skewer of rock or a building. You cannot place it until you get close. It is a single tree, leafless and dead, tilting from the desolate soil. The tree must be the last remnant of an ancient forest, though why this particular trunk has survived when all the others fell is not clear. That is not all. A rope ladder hangs from one of the higher branches of the tree. Ah, now see, this looks interesting. What if the rope ladder is secretly a snake? I'm gonna try to... Oh, dang. Thinking you get a better view of the land from the upper branches, you swing yourself onto the lowest bough and then up onto the next. A moment later, you're on the ground with a painful thump. You didn't slip. You reached for a branch, and suddenly, it was not there. You scramble up the rope ladder to get a view across the lands, but the branches seem to be alive, twisting and bending as you climb. They are closing in around you like a trap. You draw your sword and attempt to cut the branches away, but they move and bend out of the reach of your sword. A moment later, another branch draws backwards behind you and releases, knocking you painfully to the ground. For a moment, you hear a sound almost like a laugh. Who's there, you demand? Stranger! The voice is faint, yet echoing. Stranger! Show yourself, you demand. There's no response. Surely, this land is a desert. You are entirely alone, are you not? You look up into the branches of the tree to find the bare twigs have curved themselves into a human face. An old man's face that looks down at you with an overturned mouth. Stranger, the tree declares wistfully, you are lost. What are you? You demand boldly. The tree shivers as though a breeze had passed through it. Perhaps it is a chuckle. I am a spirit, it replies, and an old friend. What makes you say that I am lost? All who enter this place are lost, the face replies sadly. This is a land accursed. Every soul within is lost. Will you aid me, you ask? The branches flutter and break in a sudden gust of wind, the face disappearing for a moment. You seek the whereabouts of Shadrach of Badu Bak, the face declares. How do you know this, you demand? The branches flutter and wave. The tree is laughing. I know Shadrach very well, it replies. I have known him for a long time. Where will I find him, you ask? Turn like a leaf in the morning, the face replies, sighing a deep sorrow of ash and autumn color, to the Fishtail Rock. He is expecting you. Another stronger breeze catches the branches and disturbs them, and when they settle, the face has disappeared. Come back, you shout, but your words have no effect. You wait a short while longer, but it is no good. You walk away from the shade of the tree. Okay, that was fun. I like how I am almost dead already. We're starting this one off right. You walk on across the plain until you meet the edge of an old road. The sun has reached its highest point now. Out of the shade, the air is baking hot. The road snakes along the dust bowl. In the near distance, you make out something through the haze. Not a tower, but a spire of rock. It seems to flicker strangely. From behind you, a voice says, "Excuse me." You turn around to find the road deserted. There is no one in sight in any direction. "Where are you?" you call, half expecting Fankler to materialize up from the dust to greet you. There is no reply. The cold wind whistles around you. The plains suddenly feel far emptier than a moment before. You continue along the ghost road. Looks like I can go back to the tree, but I don't really see the point in that. You follow the old road. Heat beats down from an empty sky. The road forks here, with the main path snaking up the mountainside to the east. Rocks have tumbled down the slope, all but covered the road. You cast your gaze east towards the towering Badobak Ridge. The main peak is lost in haze, and at the end of a long winding slope that climbs long winding road that slides bleh. Why can't I read this? The main peak is lost in haze at the end of the long winding road that climbs up the slope. Looking north, the road winds along the rocky edges of the foothills. A particularly impressive stone stupa stands out a little way as you walk. Stones shift and move underfoot as you walk. Guess let's try the north. Your ground underfoot turns into rocks and scree. The sun begins to dip, heading towards the horizon. You pause to rest in the shadow of a large rock spire that sticks from the dirt like a claw through the cloth. The rock is a single shattered spire, perhaps once part of the mountain range to the east, or perhaps driven up through the ground by some geological quirk. The base of the rock has the mouth of a cave. You approach the cave with one hand on your blade. The cave appears to go back some distance into pitch blackness. Someone seems to have scratched a message in the rock inside the cave. It's only just legible, and must be ancient. In the thin sunlight falling into the cave, you can make out the ancient scratched message with some difficulty. "Stranger, I am waiting. Very long ago, summon you. Call my name to the skies, and I will. Shadra." Look around the plain. All around, dusty plains stretch north and west. There is no clue as to who might have written the message. To the east, the mountains are gleaming in the afternoon sun. The message on the cave wall suggested calling out a name. But what should you call? Yeah, half these people I don't want to call. Call Shadrach. "Shadrach!" You cry the name across the plains, and the echo of it seems to set off a distant avalanche. The ground begins to shake and rumble, and you stagger to your knees. The very earth is moving, as though it was splitting or merging back together. You reach down to steady yourself, only find that grass is growing between your fingers. Whoa! Did I just go back in time, or? You pick yourself unsteadily to your feet, feeling sick and unwell. Everything around you is the same, but everything is different. The rock has two spires for one thing. The cave seems smaller and darker, and in a fire pit built into the scrub in its mouth, a fire is burning. From inside, you hear the gentle sound of singing. You approach the fire. The sound of singing from inside the cave grows louder. "Shadrach!" you cry. "I am here!" The singing stops abruptly. There is a coughing and wheezing sound, and then an old man hobbles out from the cave, limping on a stick. This must be Shadrach himself, but you recognize the face as that of the tree spirit you met earlier. "Ah, it's you," he declares, speaking thickly through his beard. "I have been expecting you." He waves a hand around the landscape. "Welcome back." "What was that magic?" you ask. You point up at the two-pronged rock spike. "That rock grew back." He nods with pleasure. "Does the rock fall? That's very interesting. Please," he gestures to the fireside, "join me by the warmth of the fire, will you? I get quickly cold." You nod your head and sit down. He does the same, leaning his stick against the edge of the fire pit. "Do not be surprised or alarmed," he says. I know of your mission, of course. I know all about you. And you know about me, I hope. My name is Shadrach. What do you know of me? You demand. I know where you come from, and I know where you are going, and that is all one can know about anyone, don't you think? Getting a little Yoda vibes from this guy. Maybe I should give him a Yoda voice. Hmm. Except I can't do a Yoda voice. At least not long term. I know you journey here from Khare. Tell me, how fares that city? It stands still. Shadrach nods deeply. I watched an army of marsh goblins scale the cliffs, armed with swords and axes, he says. There should be smoke rising at the horizon, but I see no such thing. He grasps a handful of dry grass from the ground and tosses it into the fire pit, where it blazes for a moment into flame. He appears to change topic. I must warn you that no one from Analand has ever crossed the Baklands alone and survived. I'm told the land is cursed. Indeed it is, he answers. The very rocks and earth here are lost. Things become unstuck. He gestures up at the rock behind him. You have seen it already. Can this curse be lifted? Shadrach appears to consider this for a moment, then finally replies, No, most likely not. He demonstrates with his fingers as he speaks, twisting them together. The old world and the ancient world have grown together like thorny bushes. To journey through one is to journey through the other. The ancient world, you ask, looking about yourself? You ask, looking about yourself at the fields of grass that have appeared to replace the desert. Ishtara, that place was my home. Shadrach bows his head. You are most welcome. Unexpectedly, Shadrach stumbles. He smiles at you weakly. Are you unwell, you ask? The whole land is unwell, he replies. I may not be able to stay for very long. He gasps suddenly. Please, ask me what you need to know, and then leave. Do you place window stones? Somehow I feel like that's a bad idea. What do you know of the seven serpents? You ask quickly, keen to learn what you must while you can. The serpents are most terrible, Shadrach answers. I have often seen them, but they are no mere snakes. Do you know of their legend? Tell me. Shadrach nods, then coughs sharply. It is said that thousands of years from now, a few years ago for you perhaps, the Archmage of Mampang fought and slew a mighty hydra which dwelt in the caves of High Zaman. So formidable a foe was this creature that the Archmage took its 7 heads back to Mampang, where he used his dark arts to resurrect them as 7 winged serpents. They became his messengers, his assistants, his force in dark places. How do I kill them? Shadrach nods. A good question. Each serpent has a spirit to sustain it that grants a great power, but also a powerful weakness. Discover these weaknesses, and you may be able to defeat the serpents. Shadrach is shivering slightly now. His face is pale behind the ruddy beard. Okay, I'll just ask him for food and then I'll leave. But I'm kind of starving. Do you have any food? You ask, thinking practically. Shadrach shakes his head. I am too holy to eat, but if you can reach Kariyama, north of the river, you may be able to eat well there. If it still exists in your time. Most likely it does not. Shadrach coughs and shivers. Friend, he murmurs, I wish I did not have to go, but I must if I am to close the circle. He gets his stick and pushes himself up to his feet. Farewell then, and thank you. Shadrach nods. We will meet again. We have already met, I think. He waves a hand at his cave. I have left one more thing for you in there. Travel well. Remember, when you walk through the fields of Ishtara, you are safe from the serpents, but if you do not return to your own time, you will never defeat them. How can I travel between these lands? Look to the beacons, he answers cryptically. If any have survived into your time, they will hold a little of our ancient light still. There's one to the north of here, at least, by the river. Go there. Reaching over, he places his hands on either side of your head, and you feel a great lightness entering your body. That done, he turns and steps away across the plains. He leaves, heading west across the plains and fading into the hazy dust that hangs in the air. You muse on what you have seen. It seems there is more to the Baklands than there first appeared. You are left alone by the cave mouths once more. You look into the cave again and this time find a strange horn hanging from a hook on the wall. It is ornately carved from a strange twisting shell with a hide of leather. It is a gale horn, one of very few in existence. You lift it down with great care. You place the horn to your lips and blow a note. It is clean and mellow pitched and makes the air stir with echoes. You silently thank the hermit for his gift. You make your way back to the old road that runs past the rock. To the north, you catch a glimpse of the tower Shadrach mentioned, covered in green ivy. West, you notice a young tree that surely wasn't there before. Oh, well, I guess let's check out the tree. I think that's Shadrach's tree. You head out across the prairie. The sun is sinking and the sky is turning bruised purple. It will be night soon again, already. You swat at pestering flies and midges. The dead tree you saw here earlier is now a young, strong sapling. In its shadow, a woman sits cross-legged with eyes closed. You watch the woman for a moment. She is breathing in and out slowly, murmuring under her breath. Perhaps she is praying? Around her neck she wears what looks like a giant's tooth on a leather string. A fleet of long, thin birds swoop and career overhead, snatching flies from the steamy air. You approach the meditating woman and cough quietly. Greetings. The woman opens one eye, then shakes her head sadly. You are meant to be over there, she says, pointing a little way to the east. What do you mean? She shakes her head, opening her other eye. No matter. They tell me I will get better at divination with practice. She offers her hand. You shake her hand and she laughs. How very formal. Well met, stranger. My name is Elthera. Welcome to Ishtara, the land of peace and plenty. That sounds too good to be true. We are lucky, certainly, she nods politely. Will you sit with me for a while? I must keep going, you answer. I have a long way to travel. But do you know your way? She asks. Ishtar is a large place. Perhaps I can guide you? It's clear from the manner that she wants something. But what? You sit down on the long grass opposite her. She smiles at you. I need to practice my third eye, she says, tapping what appears to be a small gem stuck to her forehead. Perhaps we could play. And reaching into a pocket, she produces a small handful of stone. I dislike dice games, you reply. This game is more about insight and perception of the third eye, she replies. The element of luck is a mere provocation, but if you do not wish to play, I understand. Okay, you begin to cast upward to the stars, but when Elethra catches your arm. Please, this is not a game of magic, but a game of inner sense. What's the stake, you ask, she laughs. Perhaps if you win, I will give you the dice. How's that? Ooh, I don't know. I feel like I should probably be moving on. Whatever, screw it. Let's play. This is probably a bad idea. Okay, let's start with two threes. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't be doing this. I've never been to Khare. It's such a small place. I have no choice but to call. Well, you know what? Let's do three threes. Three fours. I spent 2 days crossing it. Okay, that's definitely too much. It is hardly a city, more of a small village, a thuggish one too. I agree with that at least. Only 3 fours. The round is yours. I've gotten actually pretty decent at this game. You have come through Khare. 2, 1, 2. Let's see. Let's start with 2 to see if she bids higher. Wait, no, let's do 1. Let's do 1, 3? Yeah. I have, you think. Such a small place. Shadrach says it will be important, but I doubt it. Let's do... Let's go ahead and do 4 threes. I'd be happy to never go back. I'll raise that. 5 threes means she has 2 threes, so I don't think that's gonna happen. Call. Ah, dang. There are 5 threes I throw runs around. Okay, alright. We still got this, though. So you got 2 ones and a 3. I'll start with 1 1. It's a bit 1 3. Let's do 2 threes. Try to see. Threes. Call. Haha, only 2 threes. The round is yours. We're not really talkative now, are we? Moment. Should be able to see, but I can't. Your mind is very confusing. I should be able to see clearly into it, but I can't. Let's do 1 4. That is not very generous of you. Let's do 2 4s. One moment. What is it like to see into minds? When a mind is clear, it is like swimming in a river. When a mind is muddy, well. Aha, 2 4s. Gotcha. Let me see. Start with 1 1. She's only got 1 dice. 1 4. Alright, let's try 2 4s, because if the one thing she did is a 4, then hopefully there's 2. Yep, you're wrong. There's no way. Ha 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 ha, I got you. Call. So really it's more about bluffing the other person almost, or forcing them to make a bad bet. So I think I figured this out. Too late, probably. I win, don't I? Elthora laughs. You are a challenging mind, she declares. May we play again? No more, you reply, shaking your head. I'm growing tired. She nods, gathering up the dice. She drops them into your palm. Here, take these, she declares. You'll have better use of them than I. I foresee that as much. You thank her and drop the dice into your pack. She nods and gets to her feet. I must be going, she says. Travel well. Come and visit me if you will. She waves in the direction of the cliff you came down when you entered the Baklands, but quite why is not clear. Then she hurries away. The tree is relatively young, fresh and strong, as though it has been only planted a few minutes before. It's hard to believe this is the same tree that you saw before, so tall and so very dead, but the position is the same. With the woman gone, you look around the plain. South and west, the great fault line of the cliff shields out the sky, and at its top it seems as dark as night. North, the grass stretches away towards a distant flashing line that seems to cut across the land. You turn your attention back to the landscape. Alright, well I was supposed to go north according to Shadrach, so let's go north. You walk on across the grassland until you join an old road. The sun has almost set and the sky has turned deep purple. Soon it will be dark. Away from the road to the northeast, the curious stone tower you saw earlier stands alone overlooking the river. Let's go check it out! Hopefully there's a snake here. But wait, there can't be a snake right now. Hopefully there's something that I can, like, eat? Maybe? That would be nice. Okay, where were we? You step off the well-paved road and cut across a grassy field that have somehow replaced the plain that was here before. Night falls. You should find somewhere safe to sleep. If you keep going through the night, you will be weaker for it, especially after so long walking with an empty belly. You approach the stone tower until you stand at its base. Its sides are too smooth to be natural, and yet there are no stones or brickwork. It's like a gigantic game piece carved from a single block of stone. You can make out little more about the tower in the dark. Feeling for the stones of the tower, however, you find it is covered in shaggy gripweed, hooked deep into the cracks between the stones. It is probably secure enough to climb. You walk around the tower looking for a door, but find nothing. Perhaps it is simply hard to see in the dark. Let's just rest. There's no shelter near the foot of the tower, but you find a spot in the leeward side to curl up under your cloak. You have not yet eaten today, but you have no rations to ease your hunger. You lie back and try to forget your troubles. Your dreams quickly become nightmares. There is a rope around your neck, growing tighter. The king of Analand stands before you, cursing you for your failure. You are sent for the crown, he spits, but instead you wander the wilderness like a fool. You open your mouth to explain, but you cannot speak. You cannot even find words to breathe. You make a whispered vow through your crushed windpipe to do better, to serve better, but with the words comes the crushing sense that you cannot hope to succeed. You know it, and so does the king, and the rope around your neck both tightens and grows thicker until it is like an arm crooked at your throat. Your eyes flick open. A despair snake is wrapped around your throat, breathing its miserable breath into your eyes. You draw your sword. The snake leaps back from you, baring its fangs. Ah, shoot. Well, that was a waste. The despair snake snaps and hisses at the air between you, and you feel somewhat saddened by the idea of conflict. You swing out wildly, not really expecting to chop the creature in two, as it shivers away where you cannot hope to possibly reach it. Lifts up, baring its mighty fangs. You know it will be an impossible enemy. You cannot hope to survive. Ah, no! That sucks! I lost it by point two. Then the despair snake is sliding across the rocks towards you with lethal speed. Your own strong blow is useless and knocked aside by a sweep of the neck that sends you reeling. Then it bashes you with a flick of its body, and its deadly teeth come for your eyes, catching a long bloody gash down your face. You are bleeding heavily. Typical. It spits and coils up and you lose track of it, but then again, what does it matter where it is? You curl up into a crouch. The despair snake slithers towards you, but you repel in disgust with your blade. You fall back and you fall badly as you stagger back. Oh, jeez, I'm not doing good at all. You wait as the despair snake shifts, foolishly exposing its belly. Then you attack sadly. Swinging forward, you cut the beast's neck. All this fighting seems so unnecessary. It slips away from beneath your blade, disappears into the shadows. I need more stamina. You fall back, exhausted. The despair snake coils around you, hissing but not connecting. Your thoughts are filled with old age and disease. Let's do 4. Ah, dang. Oh well, that's at least a point. You try to keep going as the snake winds away. Swinging up from a low crouch, you can't really hope to sever the snake's head, but it recoils, hissing and spitting. The despair snake lashes out wildly, and you're filled with a sense of melancholy longing. You fall back, tired. The despair snake strikes. You haul yourself away. The despair snake hisses in triumph as you see it weaken. As it sees you weaken, and you feel a great heaviness. It slithers into the darkness all around. Let's do a 5. Okay, I figured I was going to defend. The despair snake shifts, exposing its neck. You attack rather badly, risking your weight and everything really. You thrust forward, but it slithers quickly away between the columns. It raises itself and displays its vicious jaws. With luck, it will leave you alone. You are surely beneath it. Haha! Take that, jerk! The spare snake is retreating, of course, but you manage to more or less keep pace, carving up from a low grip you don't expect to sever its head. With a final heartfelt sigh, the despair snake falls to the ground and promptly expires as though simply giving in. You suddenly feel much, much better. So not a great amount of stamina lost there. You gasp it with relief. As you clean your blade on the skin of the split snake, something falls out of its belly. A key! You look over the key. Aside from the snake blood running between its teeth, it is a normal enough iron key. The snake must have swallowed it at some point and been stuck with it ever since. You pick it up, wipe it clean, and put it in your pack. It's unlikely you'll ever find the lock it opens, but if you do, it will be a most pleasant surprise. The cold night closes in over you and you try to sleep. Yeah, I wish that I could eat the key, chat, but unfortunately I can't. Below the southern tower, day 2. During the past day, you have become weaker, reached the peak of the Baklands, and met Shadrach the Hermit. You wake as the first rays of the sun cross the plain, feeling stiff and aching. You struggle to your feet. You walk a full circlet of the tower, hoping to find a doorway, but there's nothing to see. The tower side is made of solid stone, if indeed it is a tower. On the very top, something metal glints in the sunshine. Craning your neck and squint against the sun, you try to make out what the gleam is. Some kind of brass fitting seems just to jut over the side. Strange to see worked metal and stone out here. Wasn't this place supposed to be barren? You give the grip reed shoots a sharp tug. The plant is tough as rope, and seems to be firmly anchored into the stone of the tower. You pause for a while, watching the river brush past. The sound is calming, even though it is on the far side that the plains continue, and somehow you must cross. The weed seems to grow all the way to the top. Let's do it! Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Oh, hey, now, yeah, see, I guess they added more animations for this one. Quickly, you grab the grip reed and scramble up outside the tower. The roots of the thick plant offer plenty of footholds, and the ascent is easy enough. Soon you're hauling yourself over the battlements onto the top of the tower. Wow, that was a lot easier than I expected it to be. You stand atop the tower. The wind across the prairie whips at your hood, and the ground seems like an endless green sea far below. But the top is not empty. Indeed, there is barely room to stand. Most of the floor space is taken up by a large brass contraption that has been built into the middle of the roof. From here you can see all the way from the low mountains in the east to the cliff face that curves around the south and west, and the rushing river that splits the land to the north. Looking away to the mountains, they rise suddenly and steeply, blocking the view beyond. Dark winged shapes circle their highest peaks. More nighthawks, perhaps? Or worse. Their slopes are partially wooded, with grass around the double spike of Fishtail Rock. You look back at the cliff face down which you came. For a moment you seem to see a line of steps leading down the slope past the dark smudge. It is the cave mouth you saw earlier. For a moment the mountains to the east seem to spring into thick woodland, as though a dusty cloud has lifted, revealing a forest below. Then the moment passes once more. The plains around the rock are green and pleasant, but that greenery ends abruptly in dust on all sides. The effect is like a square of moonlight on a dark floor, or a lonely rock rising from the surface of a stagnant lake. You turn your attention away from the view. Birds wheel and tumble in the air a short distance away. This tower was clearly built to house a brass contraption in the center of the turret. You look it over with curious interest. A large brass cylinder. It is set into a bearing in the center of the tower and protrudes a short way over the battlement. It is rather like one of the cheap mage's telescopes, but why would anyone set such a complex device out here in the waste? You crouch to look through the cylinder, but you find you cannot, as it has no eyepiece. The near end disappears unbroken into the brass mounting of the device. The bearing underneath the cylinder looks as though it might allow the contraption to move. Furthermore, set in the central dome is an impressive looking blue crystal. The blue crystal is not a gem you recognize. It pulses with a small interior glow as though something lived inside. You push the cylinder and it swivels around the top of the tower, moving quite easily as though recently oiled. Nothing else appears to happen, however. Alright, let's see. Is there a spell I can use? Oh, looks like I can do a sus. Worth it, probably. Ah, nope. Sus. Do it. Looking to the stars, you craft the magic and a familiar calm voice begins to speak to you. The voice informs you that although the telescope is most powerful, and indeed is capable of causing great harm, it will not harm you here now. That the spell fades. You touch the crystal, but as your fingers brush the glass, something happens, and you feel yourself whizzed up into the air as though catapulted. For a dizzy moment, you seem to stare down at the entire land of Badu Bak. Then a moment later, you are back on your feet, head reeling, but feeling curiously powerful. You reach out to touch the crystal again, only to catch yourself. The blue crystal on the contraption is flashing brilliantly. Then suddenly, the cylinder ignites with a thick beam of serpentine light. The beam floods across the landscape, cutting through the mist and warping the view like a heat haze. Whoa. The land and the light of the beam has changed. It seems the magic you witnessed earlier is happening again. The view is now partially lit with a beam from the tower, and a different land appears in its light. Birds fly. Gentle wind stirs pollen in a haze. Careful not to touch the light, you examine the beam. It seems to come into focus a few cubits from the edge of the tower, then floods outwards, changing the very color of the air as it goes. On the ground you see dusty sand beneath its light, with grass growing on either side. This must be the beacon that Shadrach mentioned. Oh, interesting. So I can use this to change how so that's where the woman lives. Oh, this is gonna be crazy then. So I'm gonna have to find the serpents, all while being able to change the landscape from the past and the future. That is nuts. Let's see. I guess let's put it over here so we can check out what this tower is. But at the same time, it's like I need to leave if I'm going to. Well, no. Actually, let's leave it here for now. Until I know a little bit more what I'm doing. Let's keep it right there. Perfect. You adjust the beam around its track, sweeping the light over the land below. With the beacon blazing away, you swing yourself over the battlement once more. After an uncertain moment, you find the grip wheel and clamber swiftly down. Because I need to get out of here and actually try to find those stakes, especially now that I'm at almost full health, or as full health as I'm going to get. Scramble down the tower and drop the last few feet to the ground level. South of here, the Grand Road runs from west to east across the plain. Yeah, let's go check out. You return to the road. A few clouds scud across the sky. From behind you, a voice says, "Excuse me." You whip around to find a small boy holding a gold-backed mirror in his hand. He pushes it towards you. "I already have one like that," you tell him. The boy giggles behind his hand. "No, you don't," he answers. "You dropped it." Thank him. You nod your head in thanks. The boy smiles and puts the gold-backed mirror into your hands. Then he steps back and waits for something. You squat down into your ankles at the mirror to be more at the boy's level. He's clearly local and is likely to know a lot about the area. "Where are you from?" you ask the boy. "Khare," he replies to your surprise, "but I run errands all the way to Tinpang sometimes." "And where is Tinpang?" "Across the marsh, over the bridge near the lake," he answers. "You can run there in about a day." The idea that this boy can cross the entire of the Baklands is startling. This is the most dangerous land you know. The boy is starting to look twitchy. "What do you know of the 7 serpents?" you continue. "Nothing," he shrugs. "Sounds like one of Shadrach's stories." The boy hops from foot to foot. You nod to the boy and stand back to your full height. Old groans are so boring," the boy complains. Without another word, you turn and move away. "Just being helpful," the boy shouts from behind you before he disappears in the other direction along the road. It is only later you realize he somehow swiped the cloth skull cap from your pack. Oh, what a jerk. Alright, well, let's go here. Back to the crappy place. The line of the road curves gently as you follow it. The surface begins to crack underfoot. Weeds break through as the stones crack. Soon the roadway is lost under a layer of fine dust. The sun climbs towards the zenith. The wind picks up. The line of this grand wide road is all but invisible now. A little way off, a line of shadow marks a yawning fissure in the ground. Fissure splits the earth where once the river ran. It is as though the plain were a plate dropped in celebration of an Analan marriage. The canyon looks impossibly wide. You look west, where the road heads towards the fissure. There were clearly once a way across there. Perhaps there's some kind of bridge still? You continue to walk. Okay, well, I think I know what I'm supposed to do here. Oop. As it becomes smoother, mid-afternoon heat floods the valley. Let's go back up this way. Reach the find the gripweed. The problem is I'm using a lot of time to, if I'm going to have to keep going back and forth to these things. Okay, let's do... Perfect. Okay, yeah, and I'm not gonna, I'll probably pass on reading. If I'm having to do multiple actions over and over again, no point in really reading all of that, so. Problem is I'm gonna have to sleep soon. The road curves gently as you follow it. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. The road has changed. Not least, a large stone totem has appeared. Behind it flows a rushing river, leaping with fish and circling with birds. The totem depicts a short, toothy creature with no hair and with several ringed earrings in one lobe. Not a god, but a god or a goddess's helper creature, the type that invisibly moves a sword point aside should the power above dictate it. It leers at you with 2 wide eyes above pursed lips. You brush your fingers over the eyes. There is no click, no sting, no sense of energy. Perhaps this totem truly is merely made of stone. The totem's eyes seem to glint a little. You pause, remembering the ritual of Kurga and the terrible price of incorrect worship. What if this totem is a trap? The mouth is slightly open. There's darkness inside. The lips still feel slightly sticky to the touch. Screw it. You lean down and kiss the totem on the list. There's a quick click and you feel a sting at the back of your throat. You begin to hack and wheeze, hoping to get whatever has entered your mouth back out, and after a few moments a bee flies out. Then a second bee flies out from the totem's mouth, followed by 2 or 3 more. They disappear up into the air and fly away towards the south, where you can see a field of flowers. You gasp with relief. The bee in your mouth didn't even sting you. You look around the totem, curious to see if there's a catch anywhere to allow you to look inside, but it is solid stone, or hollow presumably, but carved from a single block. You take the bamboo pipe from your pack and slide it into the totem's mouth. It is just narrow enough to fit. You feel it stick into something. You pull the pipe from the hole. A far end is tipped with honey, which you lick off before putting the pipe away. A light meal, but still good. You slide the pipe back into the totem's mouth once more. You place your lips... Oh wait, this is probably a bad idea. You remove the pipe once more. The river is a short way off to the north and is wide and wild and fast. In the mist you can make out a stone bridge a little further to the west. You stride on. The road meets the river bank. The sun lowers towards the horizon. It will be dark soon. A majestic stone arch rises high into the air as it crosses the river here. A bridge! You haul your way up the first few steps of the bridge until you're standing above the water. The spray throws rainbows in the sunlight, across the endless grass plains on either side. You can see for miles in either direction, the tower to the east and the grassy plains ahead. The rushing water throws spray on your boots. Looking north across this plain, you see barren waste once more. In the far distance, a group of horses are steaming across the plain at wild speed, their riders thrown from side to side. Then in a cloud of dust they are gone once more. Looking back at the tower, you see the brass object gleaming in the sunlight. Strange thin light pours from the end. For the briefest moment, the nose of a narwhal appears above the surface of the river, then is gone, dragged away by the current. You gaze up at the impressive stone bridge. The craftsmanship is incredible. The whole thing seems to have been carved from a single colossal block of stone, perhaps from the cliff face behind itself, then lowered perfectly into place across the fissure. What manner of creature would be capable of such a feat? Each step of the bridge would require effort to climb, otherwise the road leads away, well paved, to the curving a little way east. The sun has all but gone. Soon it will be dark. You cross the bridge, wary at each step that ancient stones will collapse underneath you, but they hold firm all the way across, and you reach the far side. The grassy plains stretch away once more. Behind you, the river roars and screams. The mighty bridge leads back across the river from here. You waste no time. You must explore these fields further. Problem is I don't have access to the lighthouse on this side of the river, or the device, or whatever it's called. You make your slow way across the endless waste, and the grass turns to dust as you go. Darkness closes in. You need to rest. The road is barely visible through the dust. A few scattered bones line the path. You pick over a few of the bones. Thin femurs, long arms, elven most likely, or black elf. The wind has scoured them dry. Somewhere east of the Badibak Ridge is the famed forest of Snada. Perhaps the kind of place a serpent might hide? You know what? I'm going to go back here, and then rest here. The moon rises, filling the world with silver light. You follow the old road to the edge of the river. The grass springs to life as you walk. Grassy plains stretch away once more. Behind you, the river roars and screams. The mighty bridge leads across the river from here. Waste no time. Find a cool night for walking. Shit. I don't actually want to cross back though. And, let's just go back. Go back here and sleep. The edge of the fissure hardly seems a safe place to sleep should you roll over, but to walk on through the darkness would be worse. Setting down your pack on the dusty plain, you try to stretch out despite the wind. Thankfully, you are not hungry. That's a lie. You stretch out and rest. You dream you are a young boy once more, lying on your back near the waterfalls of Chawberry Wood. Gentle spray dusts your face. You laugh, and a droplet lands in your open mouth, but when you wipe your lips you find there is a slug there. You sit up in your dream, and in reality, to find a slavering bristlebee standing over you. Its spittle is drooling from your open mouth. Okay, what can I do here? I can't remember a lot of these spells. No, I don't want to just zap them. I want to try to conserve my... Tell... I can't remember. I think Raz is the beeswax spell, maybe? Using a little of your beeswax, you coat the edge of your Analant sword and then cast your spell. The blade flashes and glows, and its metal binds itself tighter into a razor blade edge. The beast snaps at your shoulder with its barbed teeth. You roll out to one side and draw your sword as you spring to your feet. Ouch. The bristle beast bares its teeth and the spines on its back spike up. Ah, Lorax sighs, reminds me of my beloved Ericus. You drop away from the snarling creature, sword raised. The beast slashes out with its claws. You rebuff the blow. You turn the blow with your sword. The bristle beast braces its back legs. Wait, why is Lorag talking? Haha! Readying your sword, you retaliate, cutting the bristle beast down as it swings its head, only to catch your blade more deeply. Its scales explode with thick blood. Then its spine bend. It is about to do something, but what? Oh, okay. You drop your guard low. The bristle beast hunkers down too. Oh, shoot. Okay. Ow. Leveling your blade, you strike, charging forward, sword biting for blood, but most of the blow bounces off the scaly hide, which is curled up defensively. The beast dribbles and cries in a pitiful wail. You crouch, the bristle breach rushes at you, scales rippling. Readying your weapon, you lunge, slicing into the beast's scaly hide, but the force is deflected by its heavy back and turned to take the blow. The bristle hisses and rattles its spines, clearly weakening. Haha, I barely beat it out. You batter at the brittle beast, chopping it. With a final swing, you bury your blade deep into the bristle beast. It twists on the metal, then curls up like an overheated beetle and dies. 2 stamina loss, that was pretty good. You wipe your sword, feeling almost refreshed for the exercise. The gleam on your sword edge fades. North of the fissure, day 3. You reach the northern plains and found one new clue. You pick yourself to your feet once more. The roaring winds finger like pickpockets at your cloak almost immediately. You must move on. You continue across the endless plain. The early morning sun makes the air glow. Let's go east. You follow the old road. The day is likely to be clear and will not be hot once more. The plains are wide and empty. To the south, the fissure yawns, wider here and furiously deep. To the north, the land climbs a low rocky rise. Let's check out what this is. You leave the road and cut across the bone gray plain. The rising winds tug at your hair and cloak. You are climbing up a low rocky rise, not a natural outcrop as you first assumed, but rather a pile of large carved blocks over which the dust of many ages has blown. You peer in between the larger stone blocks and shift a few smaller ones out of the way. You see nothing, and then a glimpse of blue shines through. A gem? A small lizard scurries out from between 2 of the falling blocks. You try to squeeze your hand into a crack in the stone to reach the blue gem of crystal, but it's still only just visible under a heap of large stones. You cannot get close enough to reach. You open your pack and look for something you can use to knock the crystal free, but apart from your sword you have nothing long and thin enough. You draw your sword and slip it into the cracks between the stones. The sword manages to reach the blue crystal. You can maybe flick it free, though it might damage the blade if you do. You would do better to find a stick from somewhere. There must be a better way. You put your sword back into its sheath. You clamber to the top of the stack of stone to try and get a view of the plain, but from the top you can see a little more than you could from the bottom, except that looking down, you see something blue glinting from the pile of stone. Let's see, is there a spell I can use? I don't think there's anything that lets me just grab something. Trying to remember mud. That probably doesn't help. Big. Six. I don't really see how any of these are really gonna help. Maybe big, I can just like pick it up. You bind the starlight into shape around you. For a moment it seems nothing will happen, then suddenly you begin to go 3 times your normal size. You set about trying to shift the rubble, but the blocks of stones are so heavy that even in giant form you are unable to shift the blocks on your own. You set your teeth and try again, determined not to be beaten. Putting all your strength into it, you are able to get your shoulder under one block and manage to heft it a few feet to one side. It lands with a heavy thud, but you have revealed the gleaming blue crystal. Gratefully, you shrink back down to normal size. Gradually, you shrink back down to your normal size. You touch the blue crystal and suddenly you feel yourself ascending. Oh, hey, cool. I guess I can teleport over here. A moment later, you're tumbling downwards from the sky, the wind rushing past your face. You're certain to shatter into 1,000 pieces. Then suddenly you're on the ground once more. It takes a moment for you to regain your breath. Incredible. You are back by the ruined blocks over the tower in the plains. Touch the blue crystal. Once again, you seem to... Okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I need to explore this area without... Wait. No, am I not allowed to do that? Am I not allowed to go back here again? Yes, let's go here. Because I kind of want to explore that area while it's dead. So I can find the stake. Oh, what did you say? You're back. Touch the... Okay, cool. Alright, so it looks like I can transfer between those now, which is cool. So that was actually really probably worth the loss in stamina. So now I can actually, too, I can change the lighthouse. I'll explore this a little bit first to see if I can find a snake. But I can turn it back to the ancient land when I feel like it now by teleporting. You walk for half an hour across the waste, keeping your eyes and ears open for warnings of danger. Heat beats down from a cloudless sky. A few hundred yards ahead of you is a camp of covered wagons and carts arranged in a circle. In the center, a fire burns, and you can see figures moving around the camp. You walk towards the canvas, but stop suddenly when an arrow flies through the air, buries itself in the dust to your left. Another lands to your right. You raise your hands to signal you are not a threat. There is no response. Dare you step closer? Greetings, you call. There is no response, but at least there's not another arrow. I need directions. Still nothing. You step cautiously forward. No more arrows are fired, although as you get closer you begin to see the bowmen, shafts ready, covering your approach. A crowd is gathering to see who you are. It is a caravan of black elves. Presumably they are traders of some kind, as they are far from home out here in the wastes. The elves eye you suspiciously as you stride into their midst. An elder elf, stouter and better dressed than the other, steps forward to confront you. If you seek shelter or food, he pauses to spit on the ground. Then, the elder chooses words for another moment while you wait respectfully. Then you waste your time, the elder finishes. Looking around the crowd, you see that most of the elves are thin and haggard looking. I need your help. The elder's face is an impassive mask. The black elves are cruel, heartless creatures. Help, he replies, almost spitting the word back at you. Help with what? I must find the 7 serpents. There is a sudden gasp from the crowd. So, murmurs the elders, you are the reasons the serpents have come into the Baklands and spread their terror. He is thinking hard, his eyes narrowing to slits. A moment later, he seems to have decided something. Come with me, stranger. I think we might have something you will be interested in. He heads into the caravan and you follow. Well, I've decided I'm going to trust these people for no reason. Hope this works out well for me. You step up into the caravan of the black elf elder. He gestures for you to sit down. You accept his offer and sit down. Now, you are interested in the 7 serpents, he says. We encountered one recently, the moon serpent, but we frightened him away. How? You demand. You must tell me. The elder glances over your shoulder. It was afraid of our fire. We lit torches and beat it back. He makes a flicking gesture to someone behind you. Where did it go? You ask. Into the mountains, he answers. I think we should be able to arrange a meeting. Then he snaps his fingers, and in an instant 5 strong black elves rush in and grab your arms. From your position in the chair, you are all but helpless. Let me go, you demand. Do not do this. The 7 serpents are looking for you, the old elf replies darkly, which makes you of great value. He gestures to the elves. You know what to do, he declares. Well, at least I'm on the path to another serpent. You drag across the dust to the back of the caravan. Guards set to work making a tall wooden X from 2 long planks of wood. Please, do not mistake us for servants of the Archmage, the elf leader says as you are thrown down on one of the frames. We are not, but we would be his friends. Set me free and I will help you. You will help me just as you are, the elder leader replies. From his pocket he takes a long black flag, which he ties to the top of the frame. The elf leader jerks a thumb. Hoist him up, my elves, and there's a ration of beer for all of you. For a brief instant, the eager elves released your wrist. Let's see. Yeah, I can't remember what half these spells do is a problem. Screw it, I'm desperate, let's just try it. You try to bind the enchantment, but you're missing an item that needs it, so the spell dissipates around you. Then the frame is hoisted up into the air, and as you hang from the cross, arms unscrewing from their sockets, the caravan packs up and rolls away into the waste. You are powerless to prevent them from leaving you behind. You close your eyes, clearing your mind and praying to your graceful God for rescue. Are you heard? You cannot tell. Nothing seems to change. The air stirs a little, still cold, but at least fresh. On the cross, day 4. During the past day, you lost significant stamina and found one new clue. I'm in bad shape now. No one comes to your aid. A group of buzzards discovers your position and begins to circle, no doubt daring one another to strike out your eyes. You wait, conserving your strength, and then by some miracle, someone approaches. A creature on horseback rides up, with a blow slung over its shoulder. Black elves, it calls, unslinging its bow. I hate their kind. Notching an arrow, he takes aim at you. I'm no elf, you shout. I'm not blind, the creature calls back huffily. It draws back the bowstring to its full extent. You screw shut your eyes as the creature releases the arrow. It flies straight and true, with perfect aim, the tip slicing clean through the rope tied around your wrist. Second arrow frees one leg, leaving you able to reach over and untie the other bonds. Your fingers shake and shiver as they work. You work your arms and legs free and tumble to the ground. You get to your feet, gasping, ready to crawl away into the desert. The creature you saved you raises a head and then gallops away across the dirt. Night is dark, but there's nowhere in this ghastly plain to rest. Oh, I'm in bad shape. You crawl away from the camp. Well, that was fun. I guess let's go north, even though I'm probably about to die. The sun continues to climb across the steep sky. The ground here is broken, dry mud. Deep cracks and uneven surfaces make it slow going to walk across. You must continue your journey, but you're weaker than you realize. Perhaps you should simply rest here a few hours and regain some strength. Gratefully, you seat yourself and enter the meditative state taught for you by your masters. A sensation of great peace enters your body. Afternoon is starting to draw on. You stand once more. Jeez, I'm not doing super good. You make your way slow across the endless dusty plains, watching for signs of life. There are none. Slowly the sun begins to make its way back down the sky. A little distance back from the old road there is a deep pit in the ground. A strange wailing noise comes from inside. You pause and listen to the sound. It is a musical sound, the playing of a pipe of some kind. The tune is unlike anything you've heard before. It seems to coil around itself, and the player does not seem to pause for breath. You stride over to the pit and peer in over the edge. At the bottom squats a thin, dark-skinned man playing a pipe, and in front of him half a dozen snakes are writhing and dancing in the air. He has not yet noticed you. Okay, I've gotten burned so much. If I can do a suspect, then I will definitely do it. No sus. Oh wait, I can help. Yeah, I can help. Jig, my favorite spell. I haven't cast it in forever. Yeah, I got this. You weave the enchantment, pulling out your bamboo flute and start to play. The man in the pit looks up with surprise and some delight, but the spell does not seem to affect him. Another musician, he declares with pleasure. Perhaps I can play something that will amuse you. No need, you reply. Well met. Well met indeed, the man replies with a smile. I do not think you are playing that flute to charm my snakes, sorcerer. I thought you might enjoy the tune. Liar, the man replies with a beaming smile. I know the magic of a pipe. Listen. He puts his pipe to his lip and begins to play a melody. It's soft and peaceful, and you find yourself becoming transfixed by his playing. Thinking quickly, you stuff the nose plugs into your ears, blocking out the music. The man laughs at your fear and soothes the beast once more with his music. Manata is me, he declares. I'm good to travelers. The snakes hiss and whined about their master. But I'm curious as to who you are, Manata says. You are travelers? I'm heading to Mampang, you tell him. Ah, to the fortress of sorcerers, he smiles to himself. That is a long journey. What can you tell me of the road ahead? There is no road, he answers. Even crossing the mountains to the east cannot be done. The bridge is long since gone. One of the vipers nips at your boot. What are these snakes? My pets, he smiles. Most beautiful creatures on this earth. I sing for them. I'm very weak, you tell him. He nods. Then rest, he insists. I will play for you. And he begins to pipe a tune. In your current state, you cannot resist it. Your eyes fall closed, and you begin to sleep, though as your eyes close, you realize your body is moving in time to the music, winding and curving around the base of the pit. You dream. You are sliding through long towers made of green metal that parts as you move through. An ocean of blue shines overhead, brittle bright. A long tongue flippers from your mouth. Your body feels infinitely long, and your toes too far away to feel. Slowly you struggle awake. You are curled up around the snake charmer's feet amongst his snake, but your belly feels full, and you are well rested. My pretty, the charmer says, feeling better now? What did you do? He chuckles and knocks the pipe against his cheek, smiling secretively. The snake charmer tips his head to one side and closes his eyes for a moment, as though listening to something. I have said enough. Leave us. One more thing, you demand. But the charmer narrows his eyes. He begins to play his flute, crafting a strange and lifting tune. His snakes stir at every note. You nod to the snake charmer and begins to scramble out of the pit. One last thing, he asks. You are the Anolander, on your way to Mampang. I am, he nods. So I thought. Your head will be most valuable. He begins to play his flute, crafting a strange and lifting tune. His snakes stir at every note. The snakes are rising. The first looms in, jaws wide. It is attacking you. Or not really attacking me, I guess. The pit snake's arches close. You lower into a defensive stance, stepping back as it slithers out of your reach. It slithers back into the dirt. Ah, balls. You hold yourself as the pit snake moves, exposing its neck. Then you attack. You cleave the air with your blade, but it recoils. It looms and displays its cruel jaws. Okay, good thing I didn't... You drop into a crouch. The pit snake lashes out with its coils. You quickly respond to avoid its poison-soaked fangs. You twist your ankle as you stagger back. Okay, it's gonna probably have a pretty low thing since it just burned all of its power. Ah! How can he do that twice in a row? Suddenly the pit snake is rushing towards you. Poisonous fangs drip venom. You go for a quick jab, but it's too fast and your blade misses. It sends you reeling back. Your head is spinning. Hisses across the pit floor. Oh, I didn't realize it only has two, so I just try to beat it out. You wait as the pit snake shifts, exposing its belly. You attack. You ram your blade forward as the snake hisses as it dies. The next snake is close behind. Okay. So let's just try to take it out. Oh, balls. That sucks. This is not going well. Aha. Pit snakes moves higher as you launch for this. Two stamina loss, decent dueling. Another serpent is coiling around your feet. So they've all started with 2. So let's just do like a 1 or a 0.5. Oh, that's bad. Ouch. Pit snake spreads its jaws wide. You hold your guard high and lashing quickly, it leaps at you. Your head spins and the sweat is blinding you. Aha! Pit snake moves foolishly, revealing its belly. You attack without delay, split the air. Jeez, how many of these are there? There's one more snake left. Aha! Pit snake coils upward. You slash out at it, hoping to remove its head. The snake hisses as it dies. No stamina loss. Flawless sliding. The last of the snake falls. The snake charmer curses you and attacks himself with clawed fingernails. The snake charmer comes at you, tongue flickering as he scratches out. You gather your wits and drop into a defensive crouch. Aha, take that, jerk. The snake charmer reaches for his dangerous flute, and so you waste no time, swinging with expert precision and all of your strength. Thinks better of his own attack and defends instead. The snake charmer curses at the blow. Ah, dang it. You keep up the pressure. You lash out with your blade. Tiny snake heads fall to the dirt. He raises his sword quickly to defend himself. You drop into a defensive stance. The snake charmer tries to claw you down, but you turn his grasp aside. Aw, dang, he keeps defending me very well. You spy an opening and go for the attack, and rear back, bringing your sword down on his hand. He helps as he brings up his sword. Snake charmer can barely find his balance. Tiny snakes rain from his clouding like cut stitches. You batter at his blade. You thrust, making swift progress across the dirt towards him. He parries with his eyes shut in fear. The snake charmer is whistling and hissing at you. Oh no, that's bad. Ah, I'm dead. Catches you off guard. The snake charmer hisses like a cobra in reply and swings for your neck. The snake charmer sends you reeling as you fall. You are down long enough for him to pull out his flute. A moment later, a charmed sleep overtakes you. Okay. Start with a low one because I think he's going to start with a defense. Oh, no, he didn't start with a defense. Ah, jeez. He's so defensive. It's like I'm finding it hard to read his pattern. Oh, balls. This is going to be a tough one. I only have 4 stamina. Ah. Take that, jerk. Ha! Apparently, I just need to two-shot him. You keep up the pressure, swinging with expert precision and all of your strength. Finally, a strike lands home and deep. Snake Charmer's hands rush to press the wound, and he curls up dramatically, howling and hissing until he lies on the floor at a fetal ball, spitting to himself as he dies. It's suddenly very quiet. You wipe the sweat from your brow and heave for breath. Working quickly, you search the bottle of the body of the snake charmer, uncovering a bottle of clear liquid. However, his pipe has been shattered in the struggle. You shake the bottle. Whatever's inside looks like water, but it seems to sparkle with an incredible purity. You recognize the shine in the liquid's very heart. It's a vial of holy water. You take the vial of clear water. Then you have had your fill. You want to spend no more time in this bloody pit. You scramble back up to the surface. The problem is I'm fighting so many snakes, and none of them are the snakes I actually need to be fighting. Well, I guess let's keep going on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to see if I can pray real quick. Oh, dang it. Okay. You carry on tramping across the plain, falling into an easy stride. Another night it begins and you are worn out. You should try to find a place to sleep. The face of the cliff is somewhat unnatural, with odd shapes, protrusions, and curves. You examine the cliff face, feeling over its strange undulating surface. It is as though something was once been carved here, perhaps a head on the side and feet over there. Strangely though, as though the figure was lying down. You continue on your journey through the dark. You have been wandering the Baklands for 4 days already, and you still not crossed the ridge. I'm not finding any evidence of snakes out here. The road leads away to the shadow of the cliff. The stars are flooding the sky. On and on you go. Oh, hey, there must be the train. So, I don't know if you guys were here last week, but I said there might be a special guest. This is the special guest I was referring to. My new place that I moved to is near enough to the train tracks that I'm assuming you can probably hear train noises right now. Yeah, let's see. Or maybe not. I don't know. Seems like it might be hitting the mic. I can't tell. I'll have to watch back and see. But if you can't hear the train, then what I'm thinking of doing is trying to come up with some sort of fun plan that something to do whenever the train sounds that's special to celebrate. But I can't think of anything right now. So anyway, I guess we'll just keep going on. The road leads away from the shadow of the cliff. The stars are flooding the sky. On and on you go, pausing every now and then to scout the land ahead. Then suddenly you stop. Something is moving over the next rise, approaching very fast. You drop down behind a nearby outcrop to watch as the shape approaches. It's a small, two-legged creature about half your size, but it seems to be approaching at a remarkable rate. You step out from behind the rock again. Raising a hand, you hail the tiny creature. As it gets close, you see it is a small gnome-like creature with dark skin and ugly features. Its little legs move at an incredible rate, and it helps itself along with a walking stick. Looking at the creature, it's hard to imagine anything could be so ugly. Its features are scrunched up, as if drawn on paper that has since been burned. Its hair is matted and filled with bones. Some used as ties, and others the remains from creatures who have crawled in and died. Silently, you wonder yourself if the creature is friend or foe. "Have it whichever way you like," shouts the creature in a squeaky voice. Indeed, a telepath? Indeed I am, continues the creature, replying to a thought you did not even have in time to formulate. The gnome smiles. You think very loud, like shouting in a thunderstorm. The remark doesn't make much sense. I'll be your friend, you suggest. Very good, the creature replies. Then it narrows its eyes. Now prove it. It holds out its grubby hand, expecting some kind of gift. Look in your pack for something you are willing to offer the gnome. You take out a gold piece and hand it over to the creature. He throws it immediately to one side. Rubbishy metal, it scoffs. If I want metal, don't you think I can find it on my own? You pick the coin back up once more. You shake your head, keeping your pack closed. Foe, then, the creature replies. It shrugs. Shame. We could have been good for each other. Now get out of my way. You step aside and the gnome beetles away, legs gearing up to move with astonishing speed once more. In a moment, the little creature has disappeared from sight. The barely visible path winds up through low footholds towards an open plateau in the mountains of the ridge. The night air is cold. The air is like ice. All around is nothing but loose rocks and gravel. The plains are empty, dark, and desolate. There's nowhere here you could rest. The ground is too uncomfortable. You must keep walking. I guess I should have rested in the cliff face, but oh well. The path winds this way and that until it reaches the foot of a stone staircase of broken and smashed stones. You could probably pick your way up. The mountaintop, day 5. During the past day, you have scraped by and found no new clues. You make oh shoot, I didn't rest. This is not going well. You make your way up a broken and half visible staircase to the mountain's top. In the distance, the sun breaks over the horizon. You have been awake all night and are weaker for it. Suddenly, the sun is snuffed out like a candle. A hissing sound begins to echo around the rocks, and overhead, a larger moon than usual seems to rise from the horizon. You look up in surprise. The shape. Oh gosh. You look up in surprise. The shape rises a little higher, a strange, almost translucent ball. Then the round shape uncoils itself. The shimmering body of the moon serpent is revealed, hovering in the air above you. Its wide fangs are open and it is coming for you. Great. That is the last thing I needed right now. Wait, I can't even cast a spell. I don't have enough stamina. I was going to cast Hot because he's afraid of fire, but I will just burn to death. You begin to weave the spell. The force of it builds within you. Only do you realize the awful truth you're too weak to confront it. Magic force says you're stripping of all energy of life to do nothing but discard hut and consumed by magic. Alright, well, let's try that again. So, stop to look. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Creature is enormous. Its wide wings seem to stretch from horizon to horizon, and its eyes are 2 yellow orbs. Its scales are a mix of circles, crescents, and fattened owls, and vary only slightly in shade, from flat gray to shimmering silver. Its teeth are long, hooked slivers. Saliva streams down from their curves. Yeah, I can't fight this guy with 2 stamina. You turn tail and begin to run, the serpent swooping fast behind you. The sound of its screaming fills the mountain pass, and for a moment you are sure it will overtake you and you will die. You cast about yourself somewhere to hide. To the left is a rocky outcrop. You might be able to shelter underneath. The serpent is close behind you, tail whipping through the air, forked tongue like a rope, reaching for your neck. At the last moment before the serpent strikes, you throw yourself under the rocky overhang. The serpent swoops after you, but its wide wings will not fit into the gap, so instead it waits outside, circling around and around. You wait tensely. Perhaps the serpent will land and come for you, but it does not. After a while, its face cracks into a snake-like smile. "My brothers will find you," it declares, "but I will find my master." A moment later, it has disappeared across the sky. The bleak mountainside falls silent around you. You still have a long way to go, and the serpents will dog your steps. Looking back west across the plains, you find a dark smudge on the land, a cloud of black dust rising from the wheels of the caravan you counted earlier. It seems not to have moved, or else it is traveling in circles. Looking east, you see the plains continuing, and then the edge of the forest of Snata, dark and tangled. Somewhere beyond is the distant glitter of Lake Ilklala, which you must somehow get across. The edge of the mountaintop ends abruptly. There are a few carved stones and then a vertical drop. You creep to the edge of the plateau and peer down. The drop is not vertical after all, but skitters away down the mountainside. You might be able to skid down it, though you couldn't walk. There would be a constant danger of rolling. Look around the clearing. There is nothing here except for a little stonework by the eastern edge of the platoon. The remains of a building, perhaps, or a ledge? You look over to the ancient stone. It sticks out from the rock a few fingers, then breaks away, only barely distinguishable from the stone of the mountain. Another piece protrudes a short distance away. Whatever was here was large and beautifully wrought once, but now it's gone. Time to head for lower ground, one way or another. Let's go this way, because I can use the light to fix the bridge. The slope is windswept. You trudge onward. A few clouds boil in the sky. From the middle distance, a curious sound reaches your ears. You stop and listen. The sound is some kind of screech, quiet but close at hand. But the mountainside is barren and there's nothing that could be causing the sound. You stride forward towards the noise. Then something appears that makes you gasp with horror. Hanging in midair are a pair of disembodied eyes staring right at you. You stare back at the eyes. There is something behind them, some kind of thought or intelligence, and the more you stare, the more you understand. The screeching noise is very loud. Whatever is causing it must be very close at hand. Show yourself, you cry, but there is nothing, just the hovering, glowing eyes. The pitch of a noise begins to rise and begins to merge with the shivering air. Sound becomes a high-pitched, mocking laugh. It is all more than you can take. Turning on your tail, you race downhill towards the plane. Well, that was fun. Maybe I should have waited, though. Climb down the mountain and enjoy the old road. As the sun climbs towards the zenith, the wind picks up. You step off the road and walk across the empty plain. The sun has reached its highest point now. Out of the shade, the air is baking hot. You clamber back up the rocky stone pile. Touch the blue crystal and soon you're dizzying high. Alright, so let's do... I guess let's change the... adjust the beam. So we will have it... Can it make the bridge? It looks like I can only really get the bridge like halfway or so. I mean, I could try to... Yes, let's do this, because it doesn't look like there are any serpents in that area. So now let's touch the blue crystal and go explore it with it a little bit more friendly. And maybe I can use this to adjust the beam to get the bridge. You drop at great speed. You are atop a stone tower which did not exist before in the northern plains of Badubak. Set into the floor here is a bearing track on which a brass cylinder rests. A blue crystal set into its length. You pat yourself down and check yourself over. You are all in one piece if a little breath is still. You waste no time in turning your attention to the corruption on the rooftop. The cylinder is similar to the one you saw earlier, although this one is slightly narrower and about a cubit longer. On one side of the turret floor is a trapdoor which is closed. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything here that's interesting? I mean, all that's already uncovered, so I don't think there's really too much else there. I could get her tent, I guess, and go see what the deal with that is. But I'm guessing it's probably more beneficial to me to get this bridge here. So let's do that. Boop. You turn about on the spot, taking in the view in all directions. The fish in the land is now to the south and rushes with water. Where the light from the crystal falls, all is bright and green. The effect makes your eyes water. You turn your attention from the beam to the trapdoor in the floor. You need to get down from here somehow. The trapdoor has an iron ring for a handle. You give it a sharp tug, but it doesn't move an inch. You twist the iron ring. It doesn't shift. Once again, you try a sharp tug, but you don't seem to get it anywhere. You're wasting your time. You give up, and in doing so, notice the trapdoor doesn't even have a keyhole. No, I think touching the blue crystal now just teleports me. I think the only time it only time it heals me was when there wasn't anywhere to teleport to. Consulting the constellations above, you bind the spell and turn the spell's focus onto the trapdoor at your feet. It shivers and rattles as though the wood was a beetle trying to take flight, but it still seems unable to escape what is ever holding it shut. Fell spades, and with the trapdoor still sealed. There is no grip way to climb over this tower, no handholds installed. You have no choice but you're flinging yourself over the edge. Yeah, that seems like an awful idea. Can I not do that? Can I not jump off the tower? Okay, well, alright. The fall is short, but unpleasant. Oh, you hit the ground with a heavy thump, your ankle buckles beneath you. You have fallen to your death. Alright, let's go back here. Give that another shot. Get the contraption. Just beam. Let's get that over here on this bridge guy. Into the trapdoor. Okay. Okay, let's try a different spell maybe. It'd be funny if I did all this and won't be able to actually... Off. The problem is that any spell that I screw up is going to take my stamina, and I don't have my spell book to... I think this requires something, didn't it? I can try it, but I think it requires a special item. Stop's not going to work. We've already tried that. Oh yeah, I could try big. Consulting the constellations above, you bind the spell, quickly swelling to the height of a tree. You swing one massive leg over the side of the tower and hop down to the ground level. Oh great, am I still dead? But I'm bigger now, I should be able to take it. You hit the ground with a heavy thump. Gradually, you shrink back down to your normal size. Looking back up, the tower seems terribly high. You try the door, but it's locked. Still, at least this tower has a door. You pull out the key you found inside the despair snake's body and try it with the door. Remarkably enough, it turns. The old door creaks open. Presumably, whoever last locked this door met a most unfortunate end some time ago. The sun is beginning to lower and the air begins to cool. I wouldn't be surprised if that someone was me. You step through the tower door into the shadowy interior. Who knows how long it has been since anyone's last set foot inside? Inside the tower is cavernous and empty, but for a stone staircase that sprawls around the walls. Dark vines have grown up inside the tower and form a thick matting across the ceilings. You climb to the top of the stairs and hack at the dark vines that grow across the ceiling. They begin to thick a drip oozing sap onto the floor of the tower. You search around the edges of the room but can make out very little in the near darkness. This tower is windowless and lets in none of the daylight outside. You slash again the vines across the roof, uncovering the underside of the hatch you saw earlier from above. It is bolted shut. Sap now covers your hands and arms. It begins to cool and solidify. You try to wipe away the sap, but succeed only in covering your hands with it more. You can feel your clothing become stiff and inflexible. You attempt to remove your cloak, but in doing so, the sap seeps between the cloak and your tunic and down to your boots. You feel it hardening up. Moving your arms is now difficult. You are turning into a statue. You begin to remove your boots, only to stiffen into a crouch and you cannot straighten from. You raise a prayer to the God of grace, but nothing seems to happen. The sap hardens completely. You are now trapped stiff, covered by a solid casing. Then something, a breath of wind perhaps, makes you begin to rock on the spot. You are dangerously close to overbalancing over the edge of the stairs. You try to steady yourself, but despite your efforts, the rocking grows worse and worse, as though you are being pushed by an invisible hand. Then you finally overbalance completely. You tumble to the floor, and the amber casing around your body shatters. You are free once more. Enjoying your regained mobility, you hurry back up the stairs once more and pull the trapdoor bolt back. The hatch of the roof falls open, letting in a ray of sunshine. Instead of going through the hatch, you use the light to poke around the corners of the room. You find a little of interest until you stumble over what appears to be an old traveling pack. Please be food, please be food, please be food, please be food. You open the pack and are surprised to find the brand of aniline leather is inside the top flap. Digging inside, you find 3 stoppered vials. You lift the purple vial and shake it in the lift. The liquid inside is thin but shines brightly. You recognize it, of course, Blimberry. You put it into your brack, an excellent find. Brown vial contains a thick oil that you do not recognize. You unstopper the vial. A heady, woody smell fills your nostrils. This is an essence of bark. A good thing you did not try to take it. Taste it. Put the essence of bark in your pack alongside the purple vial. The yellow liquid, thin and sour looking. The vial has a mark on it depicting a serpent. That's probably poison. Keep it. Put the yellow vial into your pack. It is a poison, and so long as you are careful, may come useful at some point. Then you close the pack, satisfied with what you have found. Now it's time to move on. You could go back out into the plain, or up to the top of the tower once more. Alright, well hold on. I could, I guess, try to drink this, but I don't think it's going to do me much good right now, so I think I'll save it. And I have to hope I can heal another way. Step out into the sunlight at the base of the tower. You must keep going, but your exertions have left you weak. Perhaps you should simply rest here for a few hours and regain some strength. You squat down and try to relax your body and mind. You feel a grace peace. The sun has almost set and the sky has turned deep purple. Time has come to continue your journey. You continue across the verdant grassland. Night falls and you are exhausted. You need to rest, especially after walking all day without eating. In the middle of a tinted field, you come across a lone hut. Its windows are dark and it seems empty. You push open the door. It is unlocked. Please let me sleep. I'm so tired. The hut is empty, but for a tattered rug on the floor and an empty hearth, it seems safe enough. Something catches your eye in the ashes of the hearth. Looking closer, you find the burnt fragment of a paper note. Just a single word is still eligible. Elthera. You pick up the fragment of ash, but it falls to dust between your fingers. You stretch out on the rug, enjoying the little warmth the hunt has held from the day. You have eaten nothing today, but you have no provisions and only a single vial of healing blueberry juice. Yeah, screw it. Better than starving. You unstopper your vial of blueberry potion and knock it quickly back. You feel a little better, and all traces of hunger are soon gone. Then you close your eyes and let your tiredness overtake you. You feel quite safe here, and you do not dream. The Shepherd's Hut, Day 6. During the past day, you found no new clues. You wake after a peaceful night. You step outside, ready to continue your journey. You think back to childhood stories of the forest of Snada as you walk. An old forest, but not ancient. A place of wild beasts and even wilder magic. Perhaps someone there can help. Perhaps its inhabitants will only mean you ill will. Okay, it looks like I don't have too much longer, so hopefully I can maybe get through one more day, and then I'll call it at the end of the night. The sky is blue and pink. You walk through the wide fields thick with crops. A few goats graze on low hillocks in the land, watching you with its beady eyes. This place seems to be rich, far richer than the villages west of Khare. It seems impossible that it could ever become a place as desolate as the Baklands. Looking south, you see the tower. Further on in that direction, the river rushes through the plains. You stride on through the long, swishing grass. Then somewhere close at hand, you hear a voice. Somewhere there? Got any water, have you? Yeah, I mean, I'm getting definitely the day and night transitioning. It feels to me a lot more like Majora's Mask because of, the obvious day and night symbolism. But yeah, I can see how the theme reminds you of Twilight Princess. It definitely feels like they took some Zelda inspiration to do the time in this one. Because I'm sure the original game books didn't have a actual day-night system. They probably added it to the game to make it more interesting. But yeah, it definitely seems like they were inspired by Zelda there. Whoops, no, I don't want to cast a spell. I need all the stamina I can get right now. You turn around on the spot, but there's no one else in sight. The grassy plains stretch endlessly away. Where are you? You call out. Show yourself, unless you are a coward. Aha, the voice declares. I thought I heard someone. Down here, please. Any food you have. Water, anything. Someone very small, perhaps? Hopefully not another damn Minimite. You hunt through the long grass. Warmer, calls the voice. Getting warmer. Why are you hiding? You demand, suspicious. I'm not hiding, the voice snaps back. I'm here, right here. Can't you see me? You approach the source of the sound, though you can still see nothing through the long grass. Then suddenly the voice yelps, Watch out! Careful! You look down sharply to see a face staring back at you. A head is sitting in the mud, just by your boot. Greetings, it declares cheerfully enough. Do you have any water? I'm dying of thirst. You peer down at the head. It is a man's, if an animate, decapitated head can have a gender. He has shaggy hair, brown eyes, and parched lips. He has not shaved for some time. No need to stare, the head remarks, or stare all you like, but give me some water. What are you doing down there, you ask. The head wiggles its eyebrows, perhaps the equivalent of a shrug. Still one too many goats, it replies. Ishtar is a great place, but they don't take well to goat stealing. It gets their goat, as they say, gets their back right up. I don't understand. Well, I didn't bury myself down here, did I? The head coughs. Listen, do you have any water or don't you? I can get you some, you say casually. The head cracks like a tapped egg into a smile. Bless you, stranger. You've got a good soul. Well, good souls. What do I get in return? The head wiggles its eyebrows. All right, the head replies, somewhat annoyed, though I'm not sure what I can do for you. I want to know what you are. The head looks confused. I thought I told you. I'm a thief, but they caught me. What do you know about this place? What, this place? It's a punishment field. I have no idea how many other unfortunates are here. You can't even see them, and they quickly learn to be quiet. Why are they quiet, you ask? Sound attracts animals, the head replies. Lynch bugs, spotted beetles, harpies. Not like we can defend ourselves. The head smiles thinly. Look, I can't keep talking or I'll die of thirst. Have you heard of the seven serpents? The head frowns. I want to lie to you and say yes, it replies eventually, but I won't. I've never heard of any serpent, and seven sounds like a lot. There's a shiver in his voice as it speaks. The head's eye twitches, as though itching. You kneel down and scratch the head above its left eye. It lets out a gasp of approval, murmuring, You have no idea how that feels, stranger. The head mumbles something, but keeps its lips closed. It clearly isn't going to speak any further. I'll get you that water. Get you some water. Not like I'm going anywhere, replies. I'm not really sure where to get water, though. You walk for a half an hour across the prairie. The air moves a little, still icy but fresh. Nearby, you hear the sound of hammers on stone. You approach the sound to find a group of workmen erecting a scaffold above where the snake charmer's pit used to be. They ignore your approach. As you approach the scaffold, you are stopped by a large fin wearing a metal helmet. Stay back, the creature replies. Big rocks high up. What are you building? You ask curiously. The seventh beacons. This one prevents collapsinatings in the cloud mountains. Also make weather nice. He turns and glances over his shoulder and shout incomprehensible insults at a group of workers' fins who are climbing about in the upper reaches of the frame. How does a beacon prevent avalanches, you ask? The Shin shrugs. Magic is magic, he answers. We know that this high, this wide, this strong. Strong enough to hold all of it. The rest is them problem. He jerks the thumb in a general eastwards direction. Whose problem? He jerks his clawed thumb eastwards again, but seemed reluctant to say any more than that. The scaffold sits in a deep pit in the ground, which is being used to hold the foundations. We need to cross the mountains to the east, you tell him. The Sven shrugs. Use a bridge! We built for this! There's a crash from the site, and Sven turns around and roars, stomping back towards the construction. You follow him curiously, and see that one of the bamboo supports is bent and buckled under the weight of two Svens, who are now clinging on like spider monkeys above the pit below. Sven, to whom you are talking, is scratching his belly and trying to work out what to do. You step forward, intending to assist, then realize you do not know what to do. The crew creatures are some height up and swaying violently back and forth. The leader is scratching his chin, clearly thinking very hard. You open your eyes to begin to spell, but the man knocks your hands down on reflex. None that, he scolds. We engineers. That he goes over to the edge of the pit and collects two unused bamboo rods and lays them down across the pit. He then gathers another two, and you quickly realize he's building a support framework to allow the stranded Svens to climb down. You take advantage of the distraction to walk around the site and poke into the materials they have in their stores. It is mostly, as you might expect, bamboo, hardwood for cutting joists, and various hammers, chisels, and lathes. If there is to be some work, that must be arriving later. Mounted this is a small metal box with a catch on the lid and a gourd of water. You glance around to see if anybody watching, but they are so busy helping the stranded Svens clamber back down to the ground level. You leave the box where it is. Whatever it contains is presumably important to the builders. The rest of the materials on the site are uninteresting, except a sharp-edged hewing axe. And the rescue clearly in progress, there's little else to see. We move on, leaving the workers to their task. Okay, I guess let's see if I can... Move on. Try to run across through the field. I guess let's go to the bridge. Honestly, if I get to the bridge, that might be a decent stopping point. You walk on across the waste. Rocky outcrops break the ground here and there. As the trail rises, you are soon walking on bare stone. It is hot now. You are starting to sweat under your cloak. Sitting in the low rocks and humming to himself is a dwarf. Over his shoulder is a cloth-thrown bag. Greetings, stranger, you hail from a safe distance away. The dwarf peers back. And what are you? He demands. Are you here to rob me? I'm a traveler. Are you? He inquires. What's there to travel out here? Or are you just traveling about? I'm going to Mompang. To Mompang? He splutters. What are you? A curse? Why would anyone go to Mompang? I seek the crown of kings, you reply, your honor preventing you from lying. But the dwarf merely shrugs. Never heard of it, he answers. Only crown I know is this one, and there's more of it appearing each day. And he rubs a balding spot on the top of his head ruefully. As he talks, he slings his bag onto his lap and opens it up. From inside, he moves a chunk of heavy, blackened bread. You want some? He asks. Thank you. You sit down on a rock close by the dwarf, and he hands you a chunk of bread. It is stale and dry, but it provides some nourishment to stave off the worst of your hunger. What is your name? Mist, he replies. Stupid name for a dwarf. Dwarfs have names like gutter paste, not names like Mist. But my parents thought they were something different, didn't they? He spits. What are you doing out here, you ask? Looking about, hoping for better. The dwarf eats his bread as he answers. Have you been to Dwarftown in Khare? It's a hole. I wanted to break off on my own. Get away from all the fighting. The dwarf casts a quick, worried look about him up the mountain slope. Are you being chased? I hope not, he shivers. I'll tell you this. There's something evil at the top. The moon serpent, you tell him. I know. The dwarf shudders. Something horrible it was. Do you know its weakness? It's got a weakness? The dwarf declares. Are you sure about that? It looks as big as a god to me. Do you have any more food in that bag, you ask? The dwarf shrugs. Yes. Sell it to me. Got no use for gold. Can't eat gold. You change the subject. It is clear the dwarf will not part with any of his belongings. Is there any way across the mountains, you ask? I've been wandering this plain for 2 months, the dwarf answers, ever since I left Khare. I've not found one yet. You stand and bid the creature farewell. He shrugs. I won't, he replies. No one does out here. You march onwards. Alright, well, I guess let's, But see, I don't think the moon serpent will attack me if the thing is... Rocks underfoot soon turn into a slope, and then the slope gets steeper until the going is hard and you are heaving for breath. Mid-afternoon haze makes the air uncomfortably warm. Slopes of the mountain burst into sudden color. Ropes slung with prayer flags of all colors crisscross overhead. You pause to look around. What's so special about this place that warrants the decoration? You scout around the rocks and crevices at the edge of the path, but find nothing in particular. You look up at the flags which cross and recross the path, suspended from tall wooden poles set into the earth. It may have taken the effort of several people to erect this place, but what for? The lines of flags form a triangle, with one corner higher up the mountain, two on either side of the path. The flags flap and rustle in the morning breeze. You trace the flags up the slope, clambering over the rocks until you reach a pole set slightly higher, which several lines are tied, poles carved with the symbol of an open eye. You touch the symbol of the open eye, but it is just wood. Nothing happens. You rejoin the path. You follow the flags to the bottom left corner, where several lines converge on a single pole. This pole is often carved, with a single in which is a single closed eye. The pole on the other side of the path is identical. Touch the symbol of the closed eye. Nothing happens, but you feel suddenly connected, as the sky above had split open and a great presence was watching you. You turn your head to the heavens, and have the sudden giddying feeling that you are falling upwards through the clouds and in the stars, in the depths of the very night. But your body has not moved, and only a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. The deep voice of Khare goes receding. In its place there is nothing, only silence. You snatch back your hand, and curious sensation disappears instantly. Touch the symbol of closed eye once more. Nothing happens this time. You lift your hand away. You scramble back to the track. It's getting late. I should probably go ahead and stop. Let me just do a quick sus. You wind into the stars in order around you in a quiet voice. It tells you the place of peace, where a place where gods are close to the world, and also the voice fades. See, symbol of open eye. Oh, interesting. You touch the symbol of the open eye. With a sudden rush, you feel your soul filling, as though your mouth had opened and a stream of pouring in. Suddenly, running by your side is a fox. You stumble back to the path. He has a great benign swallow, which we've never seen him come and go. Oh, that's interesting. So I guess I can change gods here? You touch the symbol of the closed eye. Nothing happens this time. Besides you, the fox is as strong a presence as ever. You turn your attention back to the past, still reeling with the joy at the return of your spirit guide. So let's see if I'll actually confront the moose snake. And either way, I'll probably go ahead and stop it here. You return up the winding path at the top of the mountain. Days are short out here. The evening is drawing in. It will be night soon. The peak of the mountain is a sudden plateau looking down across a fetid, swampy valley to the east. You may not need to tramp through them, as a magnificent stone bridge spans outward across this peak. Oh, I see, but the bridge doesn't go all the way is the problem. So I think I may have to actually go down and take the light off. Well, I guess let's see if I can cross, and that way if I have to turn back, I'll start on that next week. Away eastward, you strive forward, but a figure emerges from a low hut by the head of the bridge and blocks your path. Oh, dang. I guess I should have stopped. Well, yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and stop there because I don't know what shenanigans we're going to be up to. But yeah, so, alright, let's see. We basically wandered around. I figured something out at least, but I had to run like a scared little child from the moonstake because I could not have beaten it with 2 stamina, I don't think. Hell, even with 14 stamina, I'm worried about it. Especially considering that it seems like you need the weakness. Mountains. Alright, well, let's see. Yeah, I guess next time like I said, I won't be able to cross this whole bridge, so I guess I can try to see if I can confront the moon snake again. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that's it for tonight. This might honestly take longer than the 2nd chapter. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you liked it, join me again next Monday at 6 o'clock Central, where we are going to continue starving to death, wandering the wilderness, and dying a whole lot. So if you enjoyed that, I'll see you next week on Under the Radar. Until then, have a good night.